As mentioned in previous videos, the process that a local plan examination will follow is set out by the inspector and will be specific to the plan. However, in very broad overview, examinations will go through an initial period of assessment and perhaps questions from the inspector. This may then be followed by a request for submission of written statements. Hearing sessions would then follow, after which the inspector would let the council know if any changes are needed to the plan in order to make it sound ahead of it being brought into use. Whatever the specific process, there will be opportunities for local people to have their say. Over the next couple of videos, I'm going to talk about written statements and hearing sessions to give you a sense of what to expect and some tips on how to get the best from them. Ahead of any hearing sessions, inspectors may invite written statements from parties. This isn't a compulsory part of the examination process. However, inspectors often find it helpful to them as it can provide a way to answer the questions they have about the soundness of the plan. It can also help with the efficiency of the hearing sessions by helping to identify the issues that really need to be subject to further discussion. You'll be able to see whether written statements are being asked for by looking in the inspector's guidance notes. These are usually published after inspectors have finished their initial assessment of the plan, along with a series of structured questions that are grouped under different topics, often referred to as matters, issues, and questions. Although you should check the guidance notes for specific requirements, there are some general tips that I can give on preparing written statements. Firstly, consider whether you need to submit a statement at all. The inspector will have a copy of any consultation response you submitted on the final draft of the plan before it was submitted for examination. This is often referred to as your Regulation 19 response. If this clearly explains your position, then a further written statement is unlikely to add additional value. If you do decide to submit a statement, keep it focused on your area of specific interest as set out in your original representation. Trying to use a statement to make a new argument can make it difficult for inspectors to understand why a party has changed their position. It's also important that statements relate only to the matters, issues, and questions that the inspector has posed. Also, use any numbering system that the inspector has provided to make sure your response can easily be cross-referenced. Statements should be kept as short as possible. It really helps inspectors to have points made directly and clearly. Unnecessary preamble can be confusing and dilute the point that is being made. Written statements can be kept short by avoiding repeating text from previous representation. For this, you can simply cross-refer. If a document is already in the examination library, you can also avoid the need to copy large pieces of text from other documents by using the library's referencing system and referring to paragraph numbers as necessary. Finally, do keep an eye out for whether the inspector has imposed a word limit and stick to it.